Hello, and welcome to the University of California, Santa Cruz Fall Instruction Update. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. I am Michelle Whittingham, the Associate Vice Chancellor of Enrollment Management. I have had the great opportunity and pleasure to serve the campus in this capacity for nearly 13 years, working with faculty, staff, students, and alumni to support your transition and success. The purpose of our program today is to provide updates and answer your questions to the best of our abilities pertaining to fall instruction and student services. I do anticipate that there will be some questions you have that we may not have the answers to at this point, yet we will be tracking them carefully and providing ongoing updates. Before I get started, I want to recognize that COVID-19 and the social and racial injustices facing our communities, nation, and world have caused great uncertainty and emotional distress for each and every one of you in distinctive ways, given your lived experiences. Through education, it is my deep desire and responsibility to ensure we're doing all we can to contribute to systemic change that leads us to eliminating racism and creating more inclusive, safe, and healthy communities. I'm much more optimistic about our shared future knowing you will be joining our efforts to create change. You have already shown great perseverance by being with us here. I want to extend my congratulations to you for the many years of hard work and dedication that has led you to joining the Banana Slug community, and also to your family and other supporters along the way, your teachers, counselors, coaches, and more. Next, I will provide an update on fall instruction and in housing before having my colleagues introduce themselves. When fall quarter instruction begins on October 1st, we will offer most courses online and provide instruction or in-person instruction for a small number of courses that cannot be delivered remotely, as in the case for some laboratory, studio, and field study courses. However, as a new student, you will be able to begin with online courses regardless of your major. Each course will have the mode of instruction listed within our schedule of courses. You can see the link on your screen. Whether in person or online, and sometimes we've referred to the online as remote instruction because it won't be delivered in person on campus. Regardless of the way in which the instruction is delivered, we are committed to the values of fostering community, ensuring accessibility, and facilitating deep learning across and beyond the academic curriculum. Instructors, supported by specialists in teaching and learning, will be working throughout the summer to redesign courses for online delivery. Our in-person instruction and learning spaces will be modified as necessary to ensure that we comply with physical distancing and other public health measures. We continue to draw on the expertise of our students as well as staff who are lending technical expertise in online classrooms, and that will continue through the summer as well as fall. We refer to these students as our Zoom Corps. They will also be joined by a new accessibility corps of student workers, helping to make sure all course materials are accessible to all of our students. I encourage you to visit our Keep Learning and Keep Teaching pages that you see on your screen that provide further information about self-care, connection, remote learning strategies, advising, and many other resources. Courses will be offered primarily via Zoom, live in real time, known as synchronous remote teaching, or pre-recorded, known as asynchronous instruction. Asynchronous has greater capacity to accommodate various time zones, limited internet access, and things like illnesses. However, it's important that we also make certain that there's at least one synchronous meeting per week, even if some students, for a variety of reasons, may not be able to join in real time. Canvas is our learning management system. I wanted to also ensure to share with you that the tuition and mandatory fees have been set for the year and will not be refunded nor modified given instruction continues to be offered online. Mandatory university charges for tuition and other charges for student services continue to help cover ongoing operations, such as the delivery of instruction, the cost of student services, such as registration, financial aid, and remote academic advising. While we acknowledge that our campus, like other UC campuses, has changed aspects of our operations in response to COVID-19 pandemic, many of the costs that campus-based fees are intended to cover continue as we maintain operations and prepare for the full recovery to what I call normal operations. Although most instruction will be delivered remotely, university housing will be open in the fall and available to students who need accommodations in order to complete their studies. The residential and dining experience will be modified to accommodate current public health guidance. Rooms will be configured as singles and doubles only, significantly reducing our overall housing capacity from about 9,300 beds to somewhere in the neighborhood of 5,000 beds or less. Given that most new Frosh and many continuing students, as well as transfer students, will be able to complete their courses away from home, we are preparing again for a much smaller on-campus population. Priority for placement in university housing will be given to various continuing student populations, new incoming students affiliated with our Renaissance Scholars Program, our program primarily for foster youth, as well as new transfer students. Additional students may be accommodated, space permitting. The prioritization of these student populations is a balance between the availability of housing spaces and interest, the size of the incoming class, course offerings, whether introductory or upper division, with or without labs, and access to housing that supports remote learning for students. While a final decision has not yet been made, hopefully this helps to shed some light on the many factors that housing is currently considering. Our team in housing is working really hard to get some final decisions within the next couple of weeks, and will be communicating directly with you. Students who have paid a housing deposit as part of the SIR process will be receiving a housing deposit refund if you're not able to live on campus. This information will also be included in the updates directly from housing. I also wanted to provide some clarification regarding the statement that was shared in the Chancellor's message to students and families on June 17th. The statement reads, "Students who are taking all courses remotely and who have a safe place to live and learn should strongly consider refraining from seeking on-campus residence. We ask that all first-year students consider postponing their move to campus until we are able to accommodate a higher density in housing. New students are able to move to the local area to begin their studies remotely. There are resources available to assist with this process. However, those who are able to remain in their homes and communities are being asked to do their part to ensure UC Santa Cruz remains a safe and healthy community for everyone." The college core course, as well as most lower division coursework, will be offered remotely, thereby enabling all first-year students to begin their studies at home. We are working to establish a vibrant remote first-year experience, connecting first-year students with college communities and classmates before physically coming to campus. You are all an important part of our community, and it is vital that we connect with you as connect really all of our incoming Banana Slug student cohorts. I really wanted to ensure that we started with some of these key items that I know are direct at the top of your mind at this time. I do want to recognize as well that this is not the way that any of us, all of my colleagues, and certainly you included, imagine what your UC Santa Cruz experience would look like just 6 months ago. Despite this less than ideal start, we are committing ourselves to ensuring you are successful in your transitioning to our campus and connecting you with the wonderful community of faculty, staff, and continuing students. At this time, I'd like to now introduce you and have my colleagues introduce themselves who have joined us today to provide some additional updates. So Blia Yang will start off the introductions. Blia, over to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, all of you, for joining us today. Again, my name is Blia Yang, and I'm the Director of Undergraduate Admissions. I echo Michelle's sentiments, and I look forward to seeing you on campus when that time arrives. While the majority of my time and that of the admissions staff is spent really engaging with students and families out in the field, we really do believe that our success in undergraduate admissions is measured by the number of students who cross the stage in 2 or 4 years to accept their undergraduate degrees. I know that as the Director of Undergraduate Admissions, there is no greater recruitment tool than our undergraduates who go on to serve others and really provide service and in their chosen fields. And so today we have a large number of representatives from broad cross-section of student services, and I'd like to ask them to introduce themselves, say a few words before we get into the program.
Good day and hello. My name is Gary Dunn, and I am the Interim Associate Vice Chancellor for Student Health and Wellness. And I would like to congratulate you and welcome you to our SLUG family. This is my 10th year at UC Santa Cruz, and I love it here. It's such a beautiful place and can't wait till you can join us here in person. I'm a licensed psychologist, and I've been the Director of Counseling and Psychological Services, which is part of our student health services. And shortly, I'll be talking more about that.
Hello, my name is Rosa Plaza, and I'm the Director of Orientation, and our team is looking forward to getting to know you over the summer. Welcome.
Hi, my name is Stacy Skeeto-Rosner. I'm the Assistant Vice Provost for Undergraduate Advising. I want to congratulate you on your admission, and thanks for being here today.
Hello, I'm Patrick Register, the Director of Financial Aid and Scholarships. As is the case with several of my co-presenters, I'm also a first-generation college graduate. And I'm proud to share that my son is a second-generation college graduate. He graduated from UCSC in 2006 with a degree in mathematics, and he is now a professor at Los Rios Community College in Sacramento.
Hi, everyone. My name is Frank Calabrese, and I'm the Director of International Student and Scholar Services. I'd like to congratulate you all on your achievement in coming to UC Santa Cruz, and I'm really glad that you could join us all here today. I've been with UC Santa Cruz for just about 2 years now. Prior to moving over to higher education, I was an immigration attorney at my own practice, so I'm really happy to lead the team that takes care of all of your immigration needs. Welcome.
Greetings and good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jennifer Bazil. I'm the Interim Vice Chancellor for Student Affairs and Success here at UC Santa Cruz. We're delighted that you and your families are coming to join the SLUG family, and I look forward to sharing more about the experience that we expect you and hope for you to have on this campus and as part of our community. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you all so much for joining everyone today. I'm super excited to get to spend time with all of the new students and families, as well as my colleagues today. So as you saw at the beginning of the program, we have several different topics we will continue to cover with you. And at the end of each section, we're going to have plenty of time to answer the questions. And I know that, again, we have some people answering the questions behind the scenes, and then we will answer many of them live as well. Again, if your question is not answered during the presentation, please type it in the Q&A again at the end of each of the sections. That will really help us. Not all questions will be answered live during the webinar. And again, some of them are asked multiple times throughout the program. And I think in your boxes, there's actually terminology that says your question was dismissed. We don't mean that in a derogatory term. What we mean is that question was already answered previously. And the very specific questions may be best to really direct those to specific departments. So some of our staff may encourage you to follow up specifically with that department. Please do feel free to submit questions in either English or Spanish by submitting those questions at the base of your screen. Again, we'll do our very best to answer as many as we can throughout the program. If you wish to adjust your view, you have some controls in the upper right-hand corner of your screen. Again, I think we had recommended early on that you may want to put it in presenter mode so that you can best see the presenters when they're speaking. At this time, I really look forward to Gary sharing some specific information with you about health services. So Gary, over to you.
Thank you so much, Michelle. I'm so excited to have an opportunity to talk to you about our student health services, which is a full service health center. We have licensed and board certified physicians, nurses, psychiatrists, psychologists, social workers, and we're so proud of the work that we do here at Student Health. We're primary care providers for students who have SHIP, and that stands for the Student Health Insurance Program. I'll be talking more about that in a minute. We also provide illness and injury care to students who have purchased cruise care. Cruise care is an option for students who have other insurances, who waive the student health insurance, but who want something on campus, want to be able to come in if they're not feeling well or have an injury and get immediate help. It's a great option, and I strongly encourage you to take a close look at that. We also have a full functioning pharmacy, a laboratory and x-ray, optometry, and a dietitian. On the mental health side, we provide brief psychotherapy, psychiatry, crisis services, and case management. And these are part of your registration fees. So they're available to you regardless of your insurance carrier. Concerning our student health insurance program, all students in the UC system are required to have health insurance. Students are automatically enrolled in SHIP. Now, if you already have insurance and you want to waive SHIP, you need to apply for a waiver. A postcard will be sent out explaining how to do this, and it's also on our website. Typically, because we want students to have access to their services nearby campus, we have a distance requirement that all those services can be received within 30 miles. Given the current situation with many students staying home and accessing their education remotely, we are relaxing that distance requirement. We also have reciprocity arrangements with the other UC student health centers. So if you have the SHIP insurance, you can call in here. We can do telehealth services for you. And if you need something in person, we can connect you to one of the other UCs if they're in your area. Another UC policy is that all incoming students are required to show proof of immunizations. Now, students can register for fall classes while you're getting that together. And we won't put holds on registration in the fall because we realize that it takes a little time to submit everything. And in some situations, you might not have access to the vaccines that you need. In that case, let us know and we can provide those here at Student Health. We will put holds for the winter, though, if not compliant, as we view this as so important. Now, the requirements for immunization are the same if you're on campus or not. And that's because we really hope to welcome you all to campus very shortly, and we want to make sure that everyone is safe. The requirements and how to show proof of immunization are explained on our website at healthcenter.ucsc.edu. This last spring quarter, we've been focusing most of our attention on adjusting to the pandemic and making sure that our current situation is safe and that it's safe going forward. On the primary care side, we're providing telehealth services primarily through phone for about half of the services. The others are still in person. We have an online birth control option. We're also screening all persons who enter student health services for fever and symptoms. And we have a sick and well waiting area to make sure that we keep people safe. Recently, we started what we're calling our parking lot COVID-19 testing of students. So students every day are signing up for appointments, they're coming in, getting swabbed, and we're working with an on-campus lab to turn those tests around in 24 to 48 hours. Excuse me. We're also working with housing for isolation and quarantine needs should those arise. At the same time, we're starting testing for police and healthcare staff, and we plan to expand this to other staff and faculty. We've identified a public health COVID nurse to oversee this process. On the behavioral health side, we're responding to the increased stressors experienced by our students. We've moved to a telehealth model, and we're providing the majority of psychotherapy sessions via Zoom. We have psychotherapy groups, support groups, drop-in services, crisis services, and they're all available through Zoom. We also have an online option available through Therapy Assisted Online. If you go on our website, you can access that and check it out. Other services have also responded to the pandemic. Our pharmacy is providing prescriptions by mail, but they're also open for in-person services. We have optometry available, as is lab and x-ray. We have a great case management group who can assist students who need a little extra assistance, and we have a dietitian available as well. Going forward, we will be expanding our primary care video telehealth option. We're also expanding testing of staff and faculty and expanding testing for students. We're increasing nursing and medical care while students are in isolation if that's needed. But this is a very fluid, changeable situation. So we've established a UCSC COVID site, and you can see that on the screen. And if you go there periodically, you'll see updates in terms of what we're providing in terms of testing and surveillance regarding the situation. Mostly, I want to welcome all of you again and encourage you to be safe and well.
Great, thank you so much, Gary. And just to share with everybody who's joined us today, since COVID has been unfolding really since March here in California, Gary and his entire team have been absolutely remarkable and have been incredible leaders throughout the campus, along with other team members who've been working with local as well as state and national input. But I thank you, Gary, to you and your team who are always making certain that everybody is healthy and can engage as much as possible in their learning and in order to achieve their goals.
Thank you, Michelle.
So Blia, at this time, can you let us know what kind of questions you're seeing for the topics that we have covered so far?
Yes, the first one for Gary, if one cannot obtain certain vaccinations by the time the term starts, which Michelle said was October 1, can one get a note to get an extension?
Yes, as I indicated, that we're allowing students to come to campus for the fall without everything being completed if they cannot do that, as in a situation as you described. So what that student can do is, once you get here, give us a call in student health, and we'll do whatever we can to make sure you get vaccinated as quickly as possible.
Okay, fantastic. Another one for you, is there a copay for U-ship when a student is seen for services?
Typically not, but it does depend on the service, and some services do have a small copay, but the majority, there is not a copay.
Okay. Will we need to take a COVID-19 test before attending school?
There is no requirement for that at this time. Again, we're in a very fluid situation, and we're paying close attention to advice we're getting from our county health department as well as the state and the CDC. But for now, that is not a requirement, although we do hope to be able to provide a robust testing option for students once they arrive.
Mm-hmm. All right, here's another one. Can students access mental health services regularly or just in a crisis situation?
We have a brief therapy model in counseling and psychological services. So students can access those services and get help whenever they need it, and you do not have to be in crisis. We do have a crisis service for students who need immediate assistance. Typically for non-crisis situations, we can get students in within a week or so and see them for a handful of sessions. And then if more is needed, we work hard to connect them with off-campus partners.
Mhm, mhm. Gary, talk a little bit about the difference between cruise care and U-ship. How are they similar? How are they different?
Right. Well, let me start with SHIP. SHIP is an actual insurance. So it's just like any other health insurance. You pay a premium. There are covered services. In some cases, there's deductibles and co-pays, and it covers you for a broad range of services, including hospitalizations, emergencies, things like this. Cruise care is a very specific option for students who have other insurance, but just want some extra assurance that when they're on campus or around the area, they can get help for any illness or injury. An example might be a sprained ankle, or someone gets the flu and just needs to come in and get some immediate help for that. So in those illness and injury situations, for a nominal fee per quarter, all those services will be covered.
Thank you for that. Now, if a student is enrolled in SHIP and attending remotely, that is staying at home, can he receive health services locally in his community if it were Southern California?
Sure. What would happen is that student should call us here and get one of our telehealth appointments. We'll find out more about the situation. And if we can't help directly, then we would put a referral in the system, and then that student can go get whatever specialized service they need in their community. And by the way, that's the case not just in California, but throughout the country, because we're connected to Anthem, which is a national system.
Mm-hmm. And then, can students seek services from perhaps the UC medical centers if they have SHIP, if there is one in their area?
Yeah, not from the medical centers. The medical centers are run differently, and those are hospitals that are covered through the SHIP insurance, but it's not included as a free service. Differently, though, the student health services in the other UCs will provide reciprocal care.
Okay, fantastic. All right, let me see. I think I have one last one, and I think you covered this, but it might be helpful for folks who joined us late. Is it required to have UCSC health insurance even if we're not on campus?
Right. It is required to have health insurance. It is not required to have the student health insurance that we provided. That if you have another insurance and you elect to waive the student health, that is an option for you. So it's not required to have SHIP, but it is required to have medical insurance.
All right, fantastic. Thank you. So this wraps up our questions at this time. And here is Rosa Plaza, Director of Campus Orientation, to give you some information.
Hello, everyone. Once again, congratulations to your entire family for this wonderful achievement. We are so happy that you are now part of the Banana Slug family. My name is Rosa Plaza, and I am the Director of Orientation. I have been affiliated with the campus for over 29 years. I was a student, and now I'm a proud alum. After graduating from UC Santa Cruz, I received a master's degree in education with a teaching credential. I worked as a teacher and also a K-12 administrator for 10 years, and I have been the Director of Orientation for 12 years. I am a first-generation student, which means I am the first person in my family to go to college. I am also the first woman in my family to live away from home to be able to continue with my education. My family lives about 3 hours away. I understand that transitioning to college can be stressful, joyful, terrifying, and exciting all at once, especially during these unprecedented times. I am also here to tell you that you are not alone. We have all felt the same way. I encourage you to embrace the challenges and the many wonderful adventures to come. También hablo español por si tienen preguntas para mí. Estoy aquí para servirles. I'm going to provide you with general orientation information that will assist you in your transition to the university so that you know what to expect during the summer. Adjusting to university life can be overwhelming. you will receive a lot of information that may not always make sense. That is why we created SLUG Orientation and why the orientation leaders are available for you all summer. SLUG Orientation is the next step for all new students, and it is mandatory. SLUG Orientation consists of completing 3 online courses throughout the summer, meeting deadlines, fully participating in Fall Welcome Week, and engaging with your advisors and orientation leaders. Throughout the summer, you will be receiving various emails from our office and from your orientation leader cohort group. Please check your email at least twice a week so that you do not miss any important information or deadlines from the campus. By now, you should have received instructions to upload your photo for your UCSC student ID card. We call this the SLUG card. If you have not yet uploaded your photo, please follow the instructions in the email carefully and upload it today. You, the student, by now should have access to the first SLUG orientation course, which is called Getting Started. This course provides an introduction to some university resources and important deadline reminders. It will help you begin the major preparation process. If you are fresh, this course will help all students begin the preparation for fall quarter classes. In early July, you will receive the second SLUG orientation course, which is fully focused on advising and enrollment preparation. You will only receive course 2, advising and enrollment, if you fully complete course 1. This second course contains informational resources that will help you prepare your fall class roster. In July, you will also be expected to fully engage with your advisors. They will be sending you information directly. The Advising and Enrollment July course has important writing placement information for fresh students and other critical resources for all students. Once you complete SLUG orientation courses 1 and 2, and we have confirmed that the university has received your official test scores and transcripts, you will be assigned your enrollment appointment. The earlier you complete these requirements, the earlier your enrollment appointment will be assigned. Fresh students enroll for classes during the week of July 27th, and transfer students will enroll for fall classes during the week of August 3rd. We strongly recommend that you have all of your class prep work completed several days prior to your actual enrollment date. We want you to be ready to just push the enrollment button in your My UCSC portal when your appointment begins. So that means that we want you to have all of your prep work completed. This means that you should have already met and spoken with your advisors, have at least 3 classes in your shopping cart, and have other classes ready as backup in case your first choice classes are not available. You will hear more advising information shortly. Orientation leaders are current UC Santa Cruz students. Orientation leaders are a great resource that can help you navigate your My UCSC student portal when preparing for class enrollment. We want you to reach out to them often when you have questions about the portal or any general questions about the university. Consider them your first point of contact. We also have a lot of how-to videos that will help you better understand your My UCSC student portal and the university community. You can access the how-to videos at orientation.ucsc.edu. After August 10th, you will receive the third SLUG orientation course, Understanding My University. This course contains a plethora of academic and social resources that are available to you. I encourage you to learn all about the resources available at your university, and I encourage you to use them often. Each course will take you between 3 to 6 hours to complete. We encourage you to start the courses as soon as you gain access to allow time for you to understand the information. And also, starting early will give you time to take breaks and not do it all in one sitting. Again, remember to complete all of the courses by the deadlines. For all the supportive people and family members in your life, we have created the website families.ucsc.edu so they can also learn about UC Santa Cruz. Families.ucsc.edu was created to help your loved ones learn about university resources and to stay connected to the campus. Welcome Week is also part of SLUG orientation. Fall Welcome Week, which begins 5 to 7 days before fall classes begin, is designed for you to learn more about the academic resources, become more familiar and engage with the campus, and learn about the many, many available opportunities to you, the many opportunities that are available to you. In August, you will receive more information on how Welcome Week will be delivered this year. Again, participation in Welcome Week is mandatory. Stay engaged and connected. You will receive many messages from your orientation leader cohort group this summer. You will have many opportunities to speak directly with current UC Santa Cruz students. These are your orientation leaders, and you will be able to meet other new students through the SLUG Connection sessions we have planned for you. Also, your orientation leaders will have daily office hours where they will be available to interact with you through email, chat, Zoom, Google Meet, and by phone. Your orientation leaders are excited to meet you, and they are looking forward to supporting you through your transition to your university. We are fully committed to your social and academic success, and we are here to support you as you begin your UC Santa Cruz journey. Go Slugs!
Awesome. Thank you so much, Rosa, for that incredible overview. And I can't reinforce enough the idea of really connecting with your orientation leaders. And I would encourage you to early on take a look at some of the how-to videos, because again, all of those resources are available to help you with your transition. So thanks again, Rosa. Stacy, can you now share really some key updates related to advising that you would like the students and family members to know?
Yes, of course. Thanks, Michelle. Following up on Rosa's information about orientation, I want to share some of what you can expect from academic advising as a new student. Again, my name is Stacy Skeeto-Rosner, and I'm the Assistant Vice Provost for Undergraduate Advising. And like Rosa, I'm a proud UCSC alum and also a first-generation college student, which means that I was the first person in my family to graduate from college. Like some of the others have mentioned, the first thing that I want to encourage you to do is to keep an eye out for, check your email frequently and keep an eye out for messages from your advisors. As Rosa mentioned, the SLUG orientation modules or courses will provide you with a lot of really detailed advising information, including ways to think about your choice of a major, how to complete placement processes for mathematics and writing, how to choose and enroll in your fall classes. So reviewing those orientation courses carefully and completing the activities is what's going to really set you on a successful course for beginning in the fall. After you've completed the courses, you'll have an opportunity to participate in what we call virtual advising days. And this is a time when each of the advising offices on campus has their own way to participate. Some will do online group sessions, some may meet with you individually, some will have online videos. So keep an eye out for their messages about how to access them. That's how you'll learn how to meet with your advisors. I'll mention that our advisors have always had a variety of ways that they've communicated with students, including individual and group sessions, email advising, telephone, as well as what we call SLUG Success, which is our online appointment scheduling and communication platform. When we went to remote learning back in March, due to COVID-19, we discontinued in-person advising sessions at that time, but we've continued to advise students through remote methods, including Zoom. We've found that there are real benefits to remote advising, and I suspect that even after the shelter in place is over and we're all back on campus together, we'll likely continue to offer remote advising through Zoom as one option. So all of us here, I think, like to think of UC Santa Cruz as a place where learning takes place not just in the classroom, whether that be a physical classroom or a virtual classroom, but also through students' participation in experiential learning and involvement in the colleges and other UCSC communities. So in this spirit, academic advising on our campus is approached as a teaching and learning activity in which we work to support you as you develop awareness of your strengths, your interests, and your values, and how all of those things might come together in the development of your educational goals, your choice of a major, and how you really end up individualizing your education with experiences like internships and undergraduate research. All that said, all undergraduates at UC Santa Cruz have two sets of professional academic advisors. One set is called college advisors, and another set is called major advisors. And you may hear some people refer to them as department advisors. College advisors are generalists, and they'll work with you as you transition to the university, as you choose and qualify for a major, as you complete your campus-wide requirements such as general education. Major advisors are specialists, and they understand all the ins and outs of the major requirements, or minor if you choose to do that. They're familiar with opportunities within their programs and can help you connect with faculty advisors and mentors. So both college and major advisors play important roles for all students. If you're entering as a first-year student, you'll be working closely with your college advisors this summer and in your first year. If you're a transfer student, it's really important that you pay close attention to emails and other messages from your department or your major advisor. One of the reasons that major advisors are so important to transfer students is that they will help you determine where you're beginning in the major's curriculum and what courses you need to start with in the fall. One of the most frequent questions we get from incoming students is whether they'll be able to graduate on time. And that on time for most students means that for incoming freshmen, a 4-year degree plan, and for junior transfer students, a 2-year degree plan. For those students who really want to complete a degree quickly, I've included a URL on the slide that shows 3-year pathways for 17 of our majors at UC Santa Cruz, which are attractive to some students who enter as freshmen. That said, there are several things that students can do to graduate on time. For incoming freshmen, spending time in your first year exploring majors and taking classes that will help you qualify for your major is key. Many of our majors have courses that really need to be taken in the first year for students to be on track. For transfer students, be in touch with your major advisor sometime this summer to confirm where you're starting in the curriculum and to be sure you're in the right classes for fall. For all students, careful academic planning, being aware of and meeting your deadlines, and staying engaged with your professors and your advisors is key. It's also really, really important if you need help to reach out, because there are lots of us here who really want to see you succeed and see you walk across that the graduation at the end of your 4 years or 2 years here. So we look forward to seeing where your educational journey takes you. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Stacy. Those were very, very helpful updates. And especially I appreciate the 3-year pathways for those students who do really want to come in and, you know, whether it's going into the job market or moving on to graduate school. And again, lots of great tips. Leah, now back to you in terms of some additional questions that you might have, again, for those topics that we just covered.
Okay, so the first one here is for Rosa. Will my SLUG card be mailed to me?
So the SLUG card is what we call the UC Santa Cruz Student ID card. Right now, we're asking students to upload their photos so that we can prepare the cards, but they will receive them once they are on campus. Hopefully that will be soon. We will not be mailing them out.
Okay, and this is a 2-parter, and perhaps Rosa can take the first part and then Stacy can take the second part. I didn't receive information about my college affiliation. When will I find out? And then will I still need to be affiliated with a college if I'm remote?
So there are a small group of students who are going to be getting their college affiliation on Monday, and I will be sending out emails with the links to the first course, which is getting started, so that you are able to complete the course with your college affiliation information.
And I will answer the second part of that about whether students who are not living on campus are affiliated with a college. Each of our undergraduate students is affiliated with a college, regardless of whether you're living on campus or not. The campuses or the colleges are residential communities, which means if you live on campus, that's probably where you would live, but they're a lot more than just a residential community. They're really a group of faculty and staff who are there to support you. There's a provost affiliated with each of the colleges, which is a professor who often lives on campus and manages the college's core course and other academic programs. For students who are coming in as freshmen, every freshman begins by taking a core course at their college. And there are several activities and that sort of thing that take place at the college community building. And then, as I mentioned earlier, there are academic advisors that are affiliated with each of the colleges, which are generalists. So it's really both a physical location and a team of people who are there to support the community that's affiliated.
Thank you. Now, if I'm a first-year student and I have to take a class with a required lab, say chemistry, what do I do if I'm remote?
I can take that one. So all of the first-year courses that have labs, they will be able to be done remotely. So it was mentioned at the beginning of the webinar that there are several labs and studios and internships, that sort of thing, that can only be offered in person, but that's not the case for any of the freshman curriculum, and it's not the case for any of the required transfer curriculum. So for incoming students, there will not be any class that you have to take that includes an in-person component.
Thank you. Rosa, will there be still be regular freshman activities to get to know one another, or will that be restricted because of COVID? And I think this attendee is talking about the week of welcome.
Yep. So throughout the summer, the orientation leaders are going to hold virtual sessions. We're going to call them SLUG Talks, where students are going to be able to meet with orientation leaders and actually start meeting each other. We're going to continue that into Welcome Week and a few weeks into the fall quarter. During Welcome Week, the colleges will have programming that will allow students to get to know other students from the colleges as well as the faculty and staff. We're still in the process of doing all of the organizing for that. So once we have the plan in place, we'll be sending out notifications to students on how they can access that information. And they can always go to orientation.ucsc.edu. The Fall Welcome Week page will have updated information, and we'll be sending them an email also in August to let them know.
Okay. And last question, this one is for Stacy. Do I have to take the placement exams? Is it related to my major? And then on the flip side, if I've already taken it, do I still have to do it in the module, in the orientation module?
And I'm sorry, Blia, are we talking about the writing placement or the math placement?
Both.
Okay. So writing and math placement are the two things that are typically important for incoming freshmen. The writing placement is important. Every single freshman needs to do that in some way. Now, some of you may have already taken an exam that was offered at the system-wide level, and you would not necessarily need to take our campus exam if that's the case. But if you didn't, the course 2 in orientation courses includes the writing placement information. So if you're unsure whether it applies to you, the course 2 should include all of the information that you need in order to determine whether you need to do that. Math placement is a little bit different. Not every freshman needs to do math placement. There are a list of majors, and that list is in orientation course 1. And if you're in one of those majors, then you should do math placement. Math placement at UCSC is not just an exam, it's more of a process. So it means that you should get started on it as soon as possible. What you do is you go online and you take the placement, and it'll tell you where you placed, and it'll also give you modules that you can work in and learn in so that you can redo the placement and try and test into place into a higher class, basically, so that you can kind of make good use of your time. So it's important that you have your complete math placement done by July 15th, because that's going to determine whether you can enroll in your math classes if you need to do that. The only other placement that might be important to some of you is language, and the orientation course 2 will have information about language placement as well.
All right, thank you, Stacy. So now we'll wrap up questions at this time, and I'd like to welcome Frank Calabrese to share information with you from International Student and Scholar Services.
Thank you, Blia. And hi, everyone. Thanks for being here today. Again, my name is Frank Calabrese. I'm the Director of International Student and Scholar Services, and it is my great pleasure to congratulate you on your acceptance and your decision to join us, and to welcome you to UC Santa Cruz. International Student and Scholar Services provides visa and immigration-related services and advising to all of our international students, starting from before you even arrive on campus and continuing on until after you graduate. We also provide a range of programming and cultural services to help you adjust to your new life in Santa Cruz and to help you get to know each other and the area. We truly value the contribution that international students bring to campus, because we like to think that coming to UC Santa Cruz is really a global experience in and of itself, and we can't do that without our international students. I understand that right now the prospect of studying internationally might be a bit intimidating. There are consulates that are still closed, there are travel restrictions still in place, and maybe you've seen some things on the news that make you feel scared or feel uncertain. The team of ISSS advisors and I are here to help guide you as international students during your time at UC Santa Cruz. There is an awful lot going on in the immigration world right now. Today, I'm just going to talk about the few most important updates that I think you need to know. First, you've of course heard that campus has announced that the fall quarter will be offered online. What this means for international students who are coming from abroad is that even though you'll begin your studies where you are, your immigration documents will have to be deferred until the winter quarter or later. ISSS will be sending you an updated I-20 with a January start date within the next couple of weeks. Now, this isn't for all international students. If you're already in the US and you're transferring your CVIS record to UC Santa Cruz from a US high school or from another US college, you will not have to defer your I-20. You can begin your studies in Santa Cruz, or you can begin your studies where you currently are, even if not in Santa Cruz. If you've not already submitted all of your I-20 materials, I encourage you to go ahead and do that as soon as you can, because the faster you get us those materials, the faster we can get your documents back to you. Second, even though your I-20 start date will be deferred, you should still go ahead and begin the process to request your visa from your local consulate. They're slowly reopening across the world, and right now wait times can be 3 to 4 months out. So right now is not too early. You can check the Department of State's visa appointment wait time page for the most up-to-date information on your local consulate and to find out if they're open and how long their wait times are. Next, international students will get to participate in International Student Orientation in addition to the SLUG Orientation. International Student Orientation will be delivered primarily through your iGlobal portal online, which you can get started right away, and it will conclude with real-time events on September 23rd and 24th, which will be offered online remotely, but in synchronous time. Finally, our partners in global programming will continue to offer a variety of resource-specific and community-building programs throughout the year, even though the fall will be delivered online. And these will be continued in person if we get to come back to campus in the winter. These new programs, designed specifically to be delivered online, will include a virtual international lounge space where you can chat with other international students. They'll include the Global Mentorship Program and a variety of intercultural workshops and social events. We know that you're both excited and anxious, and there's a lot of information out there about what's happening, or also about what might happen and hasn't happened yet in the immigration world. And we know that it's changing very rapidly. You hear something new every day. We want you to know that we are monitoring all of the issues that may impact our international community, including our international students. And we hope that you'll reach out to our team of advisors with any questions that you might have. Over the summer, please pay attention to communications from ISSS. We'll be able to answer your questions accurately and with the most up-to-date information, and we'll be able to help you sort through what's true and what might just be rumors. All of our ISSS advisors can be reached by email at istudent@ucsc.edu, or you can connect with them quickly via GChat at global@ucsc.edu. Since March, all of our advising services have been offered via Zoom, so you'll still be able to talk to someone face-to-face. I'm really excited to be able to answer any questions that you might have here today, and I do look forward to the time when I can meet you all on campus in person at UC Santa Cruz.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Frank. And similar to other colleagues, I can't encourage you enough to make certain to follow up with some of those great resources that Frank provided. And I know I'm one person that's regularly in contact with Frank asking if what I'm hearing is actually accurate. So
Only sometimes.
Yeah. No, it's super helpful. So at this point, we'd like to transition over to Jennifer. If you can share some information with our guests about the many different areas that you oversee and work with.
Sure. Hello again, everyone. Given all of today's challenges, the core values of our institution and our ongoing commitment to your success fuels our work every day. We're here for you, and we've created a dense network of supports for your success and for the success of your students. Wherever you are and wherever your students are, you're not alone, and we're with you. Now is a great time to be joining this community of deeply curious people who are working on creating new knowledge that will help solve some of this complicated world's most challenging problems. We're excited to see how and what our incoming students will contribute. My colleagues and I have long operated on the principle of meeting students where they are. And as you join our community, we're thrilled to put this principle into practice in some new ways. What I hope you will feel and know through my brief remarks this afternoon, where we are, is that my wonderful colleagues and I are steadfast in our dedication to putting this principle into practice for you. So first, I want to talk a little bit about transition. The transition to UC Santa Cruz is an exciting yet complicated process. It's not just a physical process, it's an intellectual process as well. And I would begin by reflecting with a bit more clarity about what we think it means to become a banana slug. My colleagues and I believe that every part of the UC Santa Cruz experience has tremendous value. And that's what our current students tell us. That's what our passionate alumni around the world show us with their amazing impact and the way that they are changing the world. A special note about our alumni, as a matter of fact. Often incoming students and families don't know until they join us just how passionate the Banana Slug family is and how much we look out for one another. UC Santa Cruz alumni are clamoring to help and connect with incoming students to share their passion for community, to reflect on how their UC Santa Cruz experience shaped their lives, or to share their connections to internship and job opportunities. They connect back with this community to share insights about what's happening in their corners of the world and to provide encouragement. And that's some of the most rewarding work that I get to see unfold in my role. The special journey that begins anew this fall includes learning how to participate in a thriving community of research and inquiry, discovering and refining interests that may help sustain a wonderful lifelong passion that will grow after graduation, building connections that may last a lifetime, while pursuing old interests in new ways and developing new interests with new friends. The health and well-being of all of our students is an ongoing commitment from the professional staff. We are equally dedicated to ensuring that our students' basic needs are met, and I can talk a little bit about that if time allows. Next, I want to focus a little bit on learning opportunities. World-class learning happens with the faculty and instructors, certainly. Many of our offices have also expanded hours to accommodate the ways that students want to connect. And I think that this is one of the particular advantages and opportunities of a remote environment and a mixed environment in which we will be operating in the fall. What I'd like to briefly highlight are the equally vital experiential learning opportunities that happen between peers through the more than 150 registered student organizations, clubs, professional organizations, and affinity groups that are affiliated with our campus. Those opportunities are available to you at soar, SOAR.ucsc.edu. Leadership opportunities are everywhere in the student experience, and the transformations that happen for students starting from their first quarter with us can be breathtaking. One of the advantages that incoming students have is their expertise with creative community building and sustaining connections regardless of where students are physically located. Arts, environment and sustainability, gaming, entrepreneurship, spiritual life, or pre-professional planning. If you have the interest, there's a club for you. If there's not a club that represents your interest, you just might be the right person to start one. I also want to highlight particular engagement opportunities that may be of special interest to families and to students at this time. More so than ever before, the role of UC Santa Cruz experiences in helping ensure the social and economic mobility of all our students and alumni is in sharp focus. That's not a new interest here at UC Santa Cruz. It's a long-standing commitment of ours. Rich student employment opportunities, all kinds of internships, and career success activities are available to all of our students. An exciting array of these opportunities are available to students even if they are living elsewhere. I could spend all of my allotted time sharing information about the ways that co-curricular activities and student employment opportunities merge with courses of study and research opportunities to make well-prepared, highly competitive candidates who can compete effectively in the global talent market. Whether students graduate and pursue additional education or they seek a job, the resources exist to prepare them. And that's part of the reason why we would encourage you to start now. Finally, I want to talk a little bit about dedication. Our dedication to incoming students is evident in all of the ways that we work and communicate and support students throughout the life cycle of the student experience at UC Santa Cruz. We focus on success, and we know that success is as individually and deeply personal as every incoming student. We also know that success is a skill set and not a secret. So whether you're joining the community from abroad or joining from a college-going family tradition that may stretch back generations, or if you're the first student in your family to attend university, we're dedicated to your success and we're here to help you. Before I transition, I would just like to note two other additional resources that may be of special interest to families and students on the call. One is the link for the Disability Resource Center, drc.ucsc.edu, and the other is Learning Support Services, lss.ucsc.edu. These resources are available to students and can help make the transition to the university that much more seamless. You don't have to wait until the fall to reach out to make those connections, to learn about tutoring activities and other kinds of academic support resources that are available, in addition to the ones that my colleague Stacy Skeeto-Rosner referred to earlier. Again, we look forward to welcoming you. We consider you part of the Banana Slug family already, and we are delighted that you're here today. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Jennifer. That information was very helpful, and especially adding those additional resources at the end. And so I think everybody's hearing a theme. Again, even regardless of the changes we're seeing related to fall, as soon as you can reach out to different departments there where you may have additional questions, we really encourage you to do so. So Blia, I think you may have a few more questions, particularly focused on those last couple of areas.
I do. The first one is, I am a transfer student, but on a visa at a California community college. This is for Frank. How do I transfer my I-20 from my community college to UCSC? And how quickly can I expect the turnaround time?
Sure. So you'll start the process by requesting an I-20 from us via the iGlobal portal. You should have already received an email with instructions about how to access the iGlobal portal. As part of the application process for the I-20, it will guide you through how to transfer your CBIS record from your previous school to us. It involves a request to the DSO at your previous school. That would be the counterpart of either myself or the other ISSS advisors in your current school. Maybe you have an international office, or maybe you have a transfer office. They can usually help you. They will release your CBIS record to us. At that point, we will kind of take control of your immigration record. We don't really have access to it before that point, so we can start working on your immigration documents. We can start reviewing what you've given to us, but once that record is released to us, we can actually issue your I-20. The whole process takes about 20 days from when you start to request your I-20 till when we get to issue it.
Okay, here's another one. How will online classes work for international students? Will they be online at a specific time or recorded?
I can take that as well. So it depends on the course that you sign up for. As you sign up for a course, it will indicate whether it is remote. For incoming Frosh, you've probably heard that the majority of the courses will be online or remote. Different courses have a different model. So some of them will be offered in an asynchronous model, as my colleagues have explained. And that means that it is not a specified meeting time. You will be given assignments and maybe some responses and exams to be taken during the course of the week. You may have a limited amount of synchronous not in person, but at the same time where you would have to meet with the other members of the class. But for the most part, it would be at your discretion, the timing of the course and how you complete your readings and your assignments and your responses.
Thank you. This one's for Jennifer. Will there be tutors available if we are remote?
Yes, absolutely. That's part of what LSS has been doing in the springtime, is setting up virtual sessions where the support can happen. There are still a number of resources that are available to students. I would start in two places. One is in LSS, that's lss.ucsc.edu. And there will be course-based support for many courses as well through TAs and other opportunities.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Now, this one I'm going to direct to Jennifer, but I'd also invite others like Rosa and Frank and Stacy to chime in. What support services are available for students moving into Santa Cruz to live off campus, but they've never lived on their own before? How would we support a student like this?
So I can start. I think that one of the challenges that I have in answering this question is trying to think about the people who wouldn't be involved in that process and providing information. So there are folks in SLUG support who have roles with regard to helping students navigate the local housing market. That's through the Dean of Students Office. So I'm going to give you the broad categories. The Dean of Students Office is a resource for that kind of support. If students are participating in programs over the course of the summer, there are things like the EOP program where there are information and resources that can also be helpful to students in terms of making connections and adjusting and navigating those transitions. If students are in other kinds of programs with regard to other transitions, those transitional summer programs, those are great staff members who have additional resources. But really, honestly, I would say that there are a lot of people in student affairs and success who have information, resources, and support that can help support those students and guide them further. I'll also defer to my other colleagues.
So this is also from orientation, in course 3, there is a lot of resources that we've developed and put together with other offices to help with that kind of transition. I'm going to start with the looking for housing piece. If students are just at the beginning stages of looking for housing, we have an office that's called Community Rentals that is available to students that has rentals that have been vetted by the university, and are made available to students so they can see what's available out there. And they are also they also provide a number of online classes that teaches students what to look out for when they are new renters, how to prepare, and basically how to be a good applicant and be competitive in the very competitive housing market that we have here. The other is other students that have gone through the experience before, connecting. Like I said, the orientation leaders are a wealth of knowledge. other students that they're going to be meeting that have maybe gone through the experience already. And just at a very, very, very basic level, start practicing at home right now. If you don't know how to cook, start practicing. If you don't know how to do your laundry, start doing your laundry. One of the big areas of conflict with roommates is those very basic things that, and communicating and in communication in general with chores and things like that. So there's a lot that can be done right now if students don't have that experience to help themselves live on their own when they get here.
Thank you. All right, so let's go ahead and make the transition here to Patrick from Financial Aid and Scholarships.
Thank you, Blia. For those of you who have already been offered financial aid or scholarships, I'd like to let you know what to expect over the next few months. Our office is busily working on the task associated with official aid and scholarship offers, which will be replacing the conditional aid offers that were previously presented on the student portal. The official aid offers will be made throughout the summer months, beginning in mid-July. For those students whose FAFSA or DREAM application have been selected for verification of data, the submitted documents will be reviewed and corrections will be made to those aid applications as required. Financial aid budgets, commonly referred to as the cost of attendance, will be revised to reflect changes at UCSC this coming year, including reduced costs for health insurance and the reduction in costs associated with on-campus housing and dining. These reduced expenses will also result in a reduction to the grants and to the loans that you have previously seen. You will be notified of the official award offers via email, and this will be the time when you can go into the student portal and accept the various types of aid and scholarships. For student and parent loans, there are additional steps required other than just accepting the awards. And those steps will be presented to you as to-do items once the offer is accepted. As with all financial aid and scholarships, changes in enrollment, academic status, and financial circumstances can result in future changes to the offered amounts. I want to take a moment to stress the importance of letting us know if your family has had a change in financial circumstances, either due to the pandemic or simply due to the passage of time. Both the FAFSA and the DREAM application are based upon income information from the 2018 tax year. The world has changed much since 2018, and if your income is going to be substantially lower in the coming year, then you may be eligible for additional financial assistance. There is a formal process requiring significant documentation, but we will consider all submitted appeals. Please take the time to visit the appeals section of our website to see more information. We will do our best to process all appeals prior to the start of the fall quarter. Finally, I know that many of you have sent us emails or visited us on our Zoom office hours over the past few weeks. I want to thank you for your patience with delayed responses or waiting in the chat room. As an office which dedicates so much of our time to working directly with students and families, this pandemic has impacted our capabilities greatly. We have now relaunched our phone access for a few hours of daily phone support in addition to our Zoom hours. And for us, that is just the minimum. We truly look forward to opening our office doors again and meeting with students and parents in person. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Patrick, for those great updates and the tips, especially the information about the appeal process for families whose financial circumstances may have changed. Leah, you are up next to share some updates on admissions.
Yes, I am. So at this point in undergraduate admissions, we are busy processing high school and college transcripts. And while we receive a large number of them electronically, we still get quite a few in the mail. And it's not uncommon to request multiple transcripts from one student because they've attended more than one high school or college. No matter the mode of submission, each transcript will be reviewed carefully to make sure the information on the transcript matches that of the self-reported academic history in the UC application that you submitted to our office back in November. And we refer to this as the verification process. Once an official transcript or exam is received in our office, the checklist item in your student portal, this is your My UCSC student portal, will be updated from required to completed. If there are discrepancies, we will contact you via email, and this is our primary method of communication with you. This is the email that you listed on your UC application, and about this time of the year, we've also begun to communicate with you using your UCSC email address as well. So we're using both of your addresses. It's important that you keep your contact information up to date and make sure that emails from undergraduate admissions do not go directly to your spam folder. There is a transition though. While undergraduate admissions uses both your personal and your UCSC, there will be a transition and other campus departments may only be using your UCSC email address. So again, important to keep your information up to date and that you are checking that email. Typically, we verify records all summer long and into the fall. And as we review your records, we will post credit and satisfy any university or general education requirements as appropriate. We are using an all hands on deck approach to do this work remotely, but we realize that it's going to take longer. You know, our office has never done this before. Folks are working from their homes. And so I want to thank you now for your patience and to ask you for some grace as we continue to process and work through the thousands of transcripts that we expect to be receiving shortly and into the summer, depending on what the school's abilities are to get them to us. And this leads me to my second bullet point, which is to encourage you to communicate with us early and often. Even though admissions staff are working remotely, they continue to find creative ways to deliver high quality services that are both timely and personal. We are answering our emails and have been able to respond within 24 to 48 hours, thanks to our frontline team. Our email address is listed on the slide, and we are taking phone calls during business hours. That is Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. and 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. We also have deployed SammyBot on our website to answer your questions 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. In addition, between the hours of 9 a.m. and 9 p.m., student staff are available to assist SammyBot in answering your questions as well. If you did not earn the grades you expected or were unable to enroll in a course you thought you would be taking in the spring, let us know. The best way to do this is to submit the information using our schedule change grade issues form. There are two, one for freshmen and one for transfer students. You can access these forms on our homepage by clicking the freshman or transfer selection. The form is linked in the call-out box at the top of each page. Since all students are conditionally admitted, please connect with us as soon as possible so that we can explore ways to address any shortfalls to make sure you can start with us in October as planned. We will review each case and be as flexible as we can with our students. Stay connected and informed about any changes in policy or process that might impact you. We have an admissions COVID-19 website where we post information and updates for our new students. It is important to meet all deadlines and to respond to all inquiries in a timely fashion. The official transcript deadline is July 1. This is a postmark deadline, and the exam deadline is July 15th. This is a receipt deadline. I understand that AP scores are being released later than usual this year. We are aware and will be flexible with you. If you know now that your school will not be able to meet the transcript deadline, reach out and let us know. In addition, I would encourage you to also contact your school registrar and have them reach out to us, because this impact might be just beyond you as well, your classmates and other students who are expecting to be starting school at other institutions with a similar deadline. We understand the challenges and will be flexible throughout this period, working with each of you and your individual circumstances. We will not cancel your admission if you do not meet the July 1 or July 15th deadline. As I said, we will work with you all the way up through the first day of classes. Now, for dates and deadlines, official awards and scholarship offers will be available for review on your student portal between July 1 and September 1. In late August, you'll be able to use our payment estimator to determine how much you might be expected to pay out of pocket for the quarter. All right, so at this point, let's go ahead and transition to the Q&A portion for admissions and financial aid. And the first question that I have is for Patrick. How do I waive USHIP, and do I have to do it every quarter?
So waiving USHIP is a process. There is a website that is available through the Student Health Center. It is not activated yet for the waiving of the USHIP. It will be available to file the process, to begin the process in July. Okay, right now the process is still open for waiving the summer health insurance. Once that process is completed, if it's completed successfully, then you are waived for the year. You would have to request to get that health insurance back through another process. So it is a waiver that is applicable to the whole year.
And that leads me to the second question, which is, talking about health insurance grant, how that can be applied to USHIP, or can they use that for cruise care?
The health insurance grant is specific to the University Health Insurance Program. It is not applicable to the cruise care. If you waive the health insurance, waive out of health insurance, then the grant will be removed, and so it doesn't become extra cash. It's just applicable to those charges associated with the health insurance.
Okay, and then I have one more here before I transition to the admissions questions. Can you talk a little bit about the tuition and fees and how that would change or not change because of remote instruction?
Yeah, the tuition and fees are established by the regents, and those have already, as Michelle referred to during her opening remarks, those have already been established, and there is no plan to change those admission fees, the tuition and fees, if we go to remote instruction.
Okay, thank you. So I've seen a lot of questions in the Q&A about deferral and what does that mean? And so a deferral request is the student asking that instead of starting in the fall term, they would like to start either in the winter or actually defer for a whole year and start in fall of 21. So that's what a deferral request is. And we process that through an appeal. So if you go to our website, admissions, and you go to the appeals webpage, there will be a link to the miscellaneous appeal. And as a student, you can request to defer to the winter 21 term and or the fall 21 term. And that's how you would do it. Our office will review, and then we will give you a decision. And we receive the guidance from our faculty committee that oversees admissions policies. And typically, students are deferred because of medical treatment that they need to seek in their home areas. They also have been deferred in the past because of military service. But COVID, has really introduced these new areas that we need to be considerate of and thoughtful about. And so, every student's case is going to be different. And so we do ask you to explain, if it is COVID related, how is that impacting your ability to be successful as a student at UC Santa Cruz? Again, that is on our appeals website, and we will review and give you an answer. And the other question that I'm going to answer here, and the deadline for that is September 1 to request a deferral. There's a question here about when are we getting, are there any resources we can use to connect to other students, other freshmen who will be starting in the fall? And specific to our office, you will be receiving a communications from us around June 29th, the end of the month. We call this our schools app, Facebook. And this is an opportunity for all of our incoming students to connect with each other online, to build community, and to begin those relationships. Now I'm looking at the time, and I want to thank you for joining us today. Lots of great questions, and I hope that all of you have gotten a response. This is a conversation that we continue and will continue to have with you over the course of the summer. And so, if you didn't get your specific question answered today, please continue to connect with us. And at this point, I'm going to turn it back over to Michelle.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Blia. And so, Blia, before we close the program, I see that we have maybe 5 or 6 questions that are still being answered in the queue. And so when we conclude our program, the live portion of our program, I think we'll be able to stay on for, maybe a couple more minutes so that people can answer those last few questions. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Okay,
yes.
Excellent. So everybody, you'll see us kind of sign off in terms of the live portion, but if your question hasn't yet been answered, our team will be behind the scenes answering those. So in closing, I just really, again, want to thank every single one of you who took the time to join us for this program today to try to provide you some really timely updates and answer many of the questions that you have. We will be posting a recording of this program within a couple of days, and you can find it online if you just Google admissions virtual programs at UCSC. And so the admissions team is posting, again, many of our prior webinars as well will be available to you. And we truly, truly wish you all the very, very best as both you as well as us. So I would like to say as we all navigate this current environment together in an effort really to help you achieve the goals that you have laid out before you. So I truly look forward to meeting you on campus. I'm going to be very optimistic that sometime this next year you will be joining us here in Santa Cruz, and we welcome you with open arms into the Banana Slug community. So again, all the very, very best. And this officially concludes our live program.
Now that there are no open questions left, we'll be officially closing this webcast for admissions into the fall term. If you do have additional questions or we somehow missed it, please forward your question to admissions@ucsc.edu. Again, we thank you for your time and attention today and look forward to seeing you either virtually or live on campus at a future time. Thank you very much.